Hello, everyone. Welcome to our one shot, or the first one shot of our double bill of the Wassailing of Claus Manor. We are here playing that today, and it is rooted in Trophy. So, for those of you that are familiar with Trophy, you will probably be familiar with a lot of the mechanics of this game. It's got a little bit of Brindlewood Bay in there. It's got a little bit of a few different games in there, if I'm honest, and I absolutely recommend that you check it out. But for now, for today, I'm going to be playing it and checking it out myself for the first time with some lovely players here. I'm Kat. I am known on the internet as the Law Mistress. You can find me on social media at lawmistress93. And I use she, her pronouns. I'm going to get my players, I'm going to head around to all my players one by one and get them to introduce themselves briefly. I want to know your name, your pronouns, your character's name and pronouns, and why not? Don't worry about their background, but their occupation within the Claus Manor, because all of my lovely players here today will be playing servants to the Claus family. So let's start with Basil.
Hey. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Basil. He, they, Z, they, he, Z. I wish there was like a little indicator where I could just put a little crown over both the he and the they. They're both good. Z is good too. It's just when I feel like being an unscrutable, genderless being. I mean, I always am, but especially. Um, so I am playing Amelia Flaversham, which is an extra reference if for there's a friend in the chat who knows where my name Basil comes from, so extra movie bonus. But Amelia is the maid of the manor and is very excited to be here and do maidly things.
Maidly things. All
Maidly.
right. Thank you so much for that, Basil. Let's head over then to Mads.
Hello, I'm Mads, she, they pronouns, and I will be playing Mrs. Ayersworth. Basically, one who is the housekeeper and very interested in keeping house.
One would hope so for a housekeeper. All right. That was an excellent accent. Okay. Moving on. Nox, tell us who you are.
Hi everyone, my name is Nox. My pronouns are she, her, hers. You can find me on stuff at Noxternal_7, and today I will be Nevada Navidad, also she, her, hers, and she I'm just not laughing because I'm looking at Kat.
I didn't know that was your surname.
I was trying to think of some. Okay, so originally her name was just gonna be Dia Danieve, which was just no name. But Nevada in Spanish is snowfall.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing.
So the Christmas puns have begun.
The Christmas puns have begun. Oh,
languages. And she's the ballet.
The ballet. Nevada Navidad. The ballet. Okay. All right. Well, on that bombshell, let's come to the last of us. B, please tell us who you are.
Hello, I'm Binar, they, them, and I'm playing Edwin, Esquire, the butler, who is definitely super prepared for this job, very qualified, will not be taking question.
All right. On that note, then, before we start, I am going to just real quick go over a little bit of content warnings. Obviously, in case the starting screen, the starting soon screen, was not enough of a hint for you, this game is rooted in festive fun, but there is just a slight something a little unsettling, a little unnerving, a little horrifying about it. And so with that, of course, comes the fact that we are playing a horror game. What that means is that it will have quite a lot of the usual horror game tropes, and in particular, it does reference, and obviously I have adjusted these, but I will go with what the module says here. Sort of light violence. There might be mentions of blood, like body horror, occultism, and summonings might be involved. And it does specifically say here, so I will say it because I didn't tell my players this earlier, there might be reference to harm to magical reindeer, and harm to naughty children. But I will just go ahead and say that it's implication, if anything. But if any of that does not sound like your jam in any way, shape, or form, thank you so much for coming along to support us. But I would kindly encourage you to put your own safety and your own headspace first. And of course, if anything throws you off, then I'm not going to be insulted if you move on to a different stream. On top of that, some exciting news on my part that I thought I should casually mention. I have been working towards getting affiliate, and this stream is going to mark me getting all of the prerequisites that I need to get affiliate. So I'm very, very excited about that. Merry Christmas to me, I guess. Happy holidays. Yeah, I couldn't be happier about that, and I couldn't be happier to be sharing this moment with all these wonderful people and wonderful players and playing a game. I was hoping that it was going to happen when I was playing a game with people, because I just think that that's like a really fun way of doing it. So that being said, then I will set the scene a little for our lovely characters, and we will get into it, and then we're going to do a little bit of group world building, because that's part of the game, and depending on how long that takes, we will then probably take a break and then come back and play the game proper. So let me just find this. Okay, so in this story, it is the dawn of the 20th century. Amid foreboding war and festering industry, the North Pole has reached a breaking point. A lavish lifestyle, generational torch passing, and the demands of an exploding world population push the inhabitants of Claus Manor to embrace maybe some unusual forms of the holiday spirit. All too quickly, the manor could become the epicenter of Bedlam. But unbeknownst to most of our world's inhabitants, there might never be a Christmas again, if not for the patience and cunning of the Claus family's servant staff, our lovely players. Unsung valets of joy in the thick of winter. And so, here you all are, days before Christmas, and all through the house, everything stirs and strange things are roused. So, what I will do now, I'm going to go around and I'm going to ask a couple of world building questions, because the first thing that we need to do, we have already created our characters. I'm going to ask some questions about the place, and some questions about the people. And this is going to be also your opportunity to talk a little bit in more detail about your character. So let's start with Basil again. So, if you could please tell us a little bit more about your character, and how long they have been at the manor, what it is they do, a little bit about their background. Yeah.
So Amelia's been at the manor for a few months now. I'd say probably just turned like the 3-month anniversary, with which they celebrated with a delicious bottle of nog. Uh, So generally what Amelia does, since there is a housekeeper, um, I think occasionally when Amelia gets bored, they sort of pretend that they're dusting so they don't get asked to do other things. So they like occasionally have like a cleaning cloth and they're like, oh yes, polishing the silver. Yes. It's mostly just an excuse so they can be in the kitchen again to make more eggnog. What they're supposed to be doing is taking care of like the laundry, like wardrobes and clothes, and occasionally helping to like, air out the really heavy like duvets and comforters and whatnot. But this, they're very eager to be here and eager to help, but you know, upon getting there and seeing how big that kitchen was and the possibilities to just kind of just go ham on eggnog, they kind of it's like 75% working and 25% eggnog creation time when no one is looking.
Eggnog creation time. All right. And so because Amelia has the seniority level in the game of a few months, this gives Amelia a what's called a duck token, which essentially allows you to you can do a couple of things with it. One of which is to pass on a job to another player, should you find yourself not really wanting to do that. Or you could at some point choose to what's known in the game as cook someone's goose, which essentially allows you to call out someone. There's about 4 different ways of doing it. I think I sent you all the sheet that says how you do that. And it's a little bit of like interactive world building, but what that means is that everyone's holiday spirit level comes down by 1, even the person that's answering the question and the person that's asked it as well. So if everyone's starting to get a little bit high, we might have to consider using something like that. But if you give a duck token to another player, you're giving it to them, so essentially they can use it at a different time. If you decide to cook someone's goose, then we are deleting that duck token from the game, and it cannot be spent. Holiday Spirit, for those of you that are wondering, is something that our players will be potentially amassing over time. Claus Manor is a magical place to live, and even though its inhabitants are essentially running a business, there is something strange and slightly ethereal and otherworldly about the way that they manage to get all these presents out on time and the way that they run things. And with Holiday Spirit comes a sort of certain magical malady of the mind. It can kind of sometimes inundate a person to the point that they might start doing strange and unusual things that not normally considered socially acceptable. I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, that Amelia has something of a sweet tooth. Am I right?
Yes, Amelia has a massive sweet tooth, much like myself.
And me. And me. I've got a bag of minstrels here that I will be having on break, and I'm very excited about. Yes, you have already built your at level 2 in your holiday spirit. You are going to try not to reach level 5, hopefully. Oh, maybe you will try to reach level 5. I don't know. Interesting things might happen. All right. So the question I'm going to ask you is about the place. We're going to learn a little bit more about our manor. You can have a look at the map that I have handily provided so that you can kind of understand the layout of the manor. what I would like you to do, I don't know if you're going to have one on you because I did actually forget to, but I can, if you want, I can do it. Is roll a d8. Do you have a d8 to hand? If not, yeah, you do.
I do. I just have to dig through the bag. I usually
No, you're
have,
good.
like, the
I'm
D20
very
on
aware
top.
that I did not prepare any of you for that.
6. Wait. Here we go. Let me get the rest of this up.
Everyone's running to get their dice now.
Okay. No, I didn't. Okay. I'll just use my phone. Yep. Oh, I kind of. Okay, I got a 5.
A 5. All right. So you get to have a look at the map, and I would like you to choose which room is rumored to be haunted. What unfortunate event is rumored to bind the presence here? So you get to choose the room, and you can grab a little sticky note in our Figma board, and you can kind of write out the details. But yes, please tell us.
I think I may have to make an account to actually move the sticky notes, but
Okay, well I can do it if that's
okay. So I was like, I can move the little thing around, but I can't grab nothing. So I was thinking that uh that room 19, the storage and shop, is haunted.
Ooh, okay. Let's do that then. So let's pop it over by room. Oh yeah, that's in a very isolated place alone over here, isn't it?
Yeah,
Okay.
it kind of gave off creepy vibes when I was looking at it.
It does give off creepy vibes. So tell us a little bit more about this haunting. What unfortunate event is rumored to bind the presence here? What is it haunted by?
So I think it's one of those things because it's a storage area where there's just, just in the course of like buying and selling things, there's something in like the back on one of the shelves in a jar that's just like, I want to say like cursed ashes or something. Like, there's ashes and bones of something and it kind of rattles, but it's the sort of rattle where you could easily blame it on either the shelf not being, properly level or because of the winter winds. Like when you open like the door, it's just drafty in there. But like it sort of like oozes this kind of weird malevolence, but at the same time you're like, it's a jar. That's weird. I haven't gotten enough sleep. So I think it's definitely also the sort of place that Amelia does not like to go into, which is why we had talked about this before the stream started, but that's probably part of the reason why Amelia has their own little mini fridge of Nog ingredients so they don't have to keep anything in the storage area.
Aha. All right. Okay. So, everyone's got that, and this is I guess law that you can decide what your characters know of this, and how, like, if it's somebody's first day, maybe they will stumble upon this to help them, and you can decide how they learn that. But essentially this information is accessible to all, to use throughout the game. Okay, and then I would like you to answer one question about the people as well. Obviously, amid the chill of servitude, you've got interpersonal drama to keep you warm. So you can implicate player characters, family members, or other individuals that you essentially make up but aren't otherwise noted in the text of this book. As you wish, but roll another d8 for me.
Oops. Sorry. Let me see if I can find the other one that I have for this equivalency. Hold on. I should have got to that one. Wait, is this it? This might be it. Yes, it is. It is. Okay. Let's see. I got a 4.
A 4. Okay. Wow. Okay. So who is rumored to have buried a body somewhere on the estate? And whose body is it rumored to be? Now, I'm going to preface this by saying you can choose what the rumor is, who is rumored to have buried the body, whose it is. If you implicate a player character, which you are welcome to do, they can choose whether it's true or not, and they can change any details of what's actually the truth and what's so they could choose to have actually buried a body if they like, or they could choose for it to be a load of nonsense. But it's up to you what the rumor looks like.
Oh gosh. That's
All of your fellow players seem very here for their character being implicated.
no, I
like,
know,
yeah.
right? I was looking at the screen. Okay, okay, cool. Come on. Usually my dice rolling skills. There we go. Aren't that great? Okay, so I'm gonna say then, because I decided to leave it up to a D4, I'm gonna say that Nevada buried
Yes.
a body. But gosh, whose body? Is it on the one hand, like I'm thinking about this because it would just be so wild and it'd be funny, but at the same time, I'm like narratively, like I don't know, it's like creepy, but because I was thinking, like as soon as you said that I was like, oh well, obviously the buried body was Amelia, but then I was just like, where do you go with it?
That happened in Ill House.
Holiday spirit, indeed.
So I will say, whatever this form this takes is so what you could do is you could create a completely outlandish rumor. Of course it's outlandish, it can't possibly be true, that that people think that Amelia has been replaced with a doppelganger of some kind, and that the real Amelia has been buried by Nevada. That's a possibility
Amelia's
that I
Paul
would put forward.
McCartney.
But
Yeah, let's go with that then. That'll be the rumor.
okay, so you've kind of implicated yourself in this as well. So Amelia rumored to be a doppelganger. That could be interesting.
That's why she goes off to get eggnog, because that's what they need to survive.
Okay. The real Amelia hated sweet things. All right. Okay. So we're going to move on now to our next player. Mads, I think it's going to be your turn. I would like you to tell us a little bit more about Jane. How long has Jane been working for the Clauses? Obviously, Jane is the housekeeper, but what kind of background does Jane have? And yeah, tell us a little bit more.
Indeed. Well, really, it's supposed to be not Jane, dear. It's supposed to be Mrs. Airsworth, because the housekeeper has to have some modicum of superiority, a little bit, a tiny little bit, and well, a little over a year's experience with the Clauses has given me a little bit of how shall we say, reticence about certain things, especially about my background as a quack doctor. Just because they didn't understand anything about miracles and humors. So, it's any which way, 6 of one and half a dozen of another, to just hide out in a magical place to, well, maybe hide some other things that have happened in the past.
Oh, I'm living for your accent. I just want to say that first of all.
Thank you.
Every time you start speaking, I just lose it. So this is going to make this game very interesting. All right, Mrs. Earsworth, if you wouldn't mind enlightening us a little bit more about the place, please roll a d8 for me.
Okay. We got us a 6.
A 6. Okay. Mrs. Airsworth, which room do the elves sneak into while everyone else is tucked in their beds? And what evidence have you found?
And everyone is tucked in their beds. Ah, I know. Well, every so often, in the sleigh house, because, well, they're large carriages, of course, and just elaborately done with all sorts of ornaments or gilding on the side. And every so often I can see the evidence of the little elves, like taking their constitutionals, shall we say, in the sleigh house. And what I find are tiny little bottles. When you get a little sniff, they're not only of cinnamon and nutmeg, but maybe they're a little bit of alcohol and of those kind of volatile spirits, shall we say. And they're strewn into the sleighs themselves, like they couldn't even bring a bin and clean up after themselves. No. Them, the little bottles, the little vials, and sometimes a hat or two. And maybe, a pair of pants.
Okay, so the elves are going for little breaks, shall we say? They're using the sleigh house, which is number 18, I think, leaving evidence of the most distressing kind that they are doing that.
Me as a player, I'm all for it, but damn.
Leaving evidence of maybe little elf parties going on in there.
Elf rave!
Elf rave!
Elf rave!
There's the little lights! There's the little lights!
Feliz Navidad!
All right. Okay, so they are just not tidying up after themselves, and they're leaving little presents behind, but not the kind that should be in there. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the people. Please roll me another d8.
This time it is an 8.
An 8. Ooh, who has the best private space in the servants' quarters? Why do the staff feel this was unfairly obtained? So you can choose, and you can choose yourself as well. I just want to put that out there, but you can choose a one of your fellow players or yourself, and just let us know why the staff are feeling some form of way about it.
If this is okay, it's going to include like a mention of nepotism, illegitimacy, and nepotism. Okay.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. So, I was asked to put together a chamber, a suite, even in the house. And I find out later that it is for our newcomer, the butler. It seems that there is, well, special treatment when I should have gotten that room once the old butler had gone away, passed away. Not sure. But, at any rate, I was told that I needed to spruce up the chamber and make sure that it was ready for our new servant, guest, addition to the household. And The rumor that I heard from Nevada was that perhaps there was a little bit of on the other side of the blanket going on, and therefore this newcomer was associated with the family in a very, very familiar way.
All right.
Man, Nevada sucks.
Can we? Yeah, Nevada is all ready. Can we also talk about the fact that Nevada's holiday spirit is sovereign of the North? Got a little bit of an ego, and then just this new butler has come in, like, hey, it might actually be part of the family. All right.
We know
so-
who's going to be sucking up to him. We know. We absolutely know.
Well, it's even funnier because I was joking with B earlier that they could have known each other before Nevada got the job, and Nevada could have been like, yeah, no, they're totally legit.
Yeah.
Nevada's my
my-
reference.
That's
Like,
amazing.
Nevada's Edgar's
Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
That's amazing. Yeah.
All right. So, if I'm understanding correctly, in the servants' quarters, a suite has been set aside for the new butler. A room far nicer than your own, which is not very good at all, considering that this is to be the butler's first day, and you've been here for quite some time now. And the rumor is that perhaps this new butler, Edwin, might actually be an illegitimate part of the family, but we don't speak of such things, of course. No gossiping within the servants' quarters, of course. No.
We don't call it gossip. We call it discussion. Absolutely.
Lively
Discussion.
It's not gossip if it's true.
Wait a minute. Whoa. I had a question. I had a question for Amelia. Does Amelia share the nog?
Oh, absolutely not. That's Amelia's
I knew it!
special time.
I knew it. Okay. Just want to make sure I knew.
As soon as you asked that question, I was like, I already know what the answer is going to be, and it's going to be a no.
I don't share my nog at home. Are you kidding me? I have a bottle and Briar has a bottle.
I was imagining Amelia with their nog going, my precious.
No, pretty much, because I've done that since I was a kid. I would hiss at people.
That's me with like the sparkling cider for New Year's. Where
so good.
So I get my own bottle, and then my grandparents would they would share half a bottle, and then I get the other half of that second bottle.
Yes.
Precious. Love it.
All right. Thank you very much, Mrs. Airsworth, for your contributions. We will move on now to our lovely Nox, Nevada. Nevada Navidad. Please, this is the single best thing. Please tell us a little bit more about Nevada as a person. We know Nevada is the valet, but what is Nevada's background, and how long has Nevada been with the family?
Well, as we are learning, Nevada is the worst. No, I'm kidding. So Nevada is a very she grew up as a street urchin, always like looking for ways to make connections that will hopefully get her out of her situation, until she was finally able to secure a job at Claus Manor as their valet. She totally had all the qualifications. Totally just didn't learn on the fly, but she's good like that. She's quick and adaptable. But she's very sure that she is a sovereign of the North. That she is in fact a ruler of the North Pole.
Sovereign of the North is such a good holiday spirit track to go along on.
And should be treated as such. But she's working her way till the day she once again can reign. Totally in a very kind and fair way.
Mm-hmm. Mhm.
Very much so.
Yeah. I will ask. I would like you to ruminate upon the rumor that you have buried a body. And I would like to know, is there any truth to that rumor?
I'm gonna roll a dice. Alright. Okay, Basil, odds or evens?
Odds.
Yeah, it's true.
Obviously, Amelia gets to choose whether it is a doppelganger, or their own. But okay, so it's true. So you actually buried a body on the estate somewhere. You may choose whereabouts that is. Okay, so with that being said, I think it's time for you to answer a question. Could you roll a d8 for me?
I can, if you don't mind hearing my cat just frantically clawing to be let out.
You know, everyone knows that I hate cats.
That's a 3.
A 3. Okay. Your question about the place, about the manor. Which room do the Clauses plan on renovating? What hideous new element is already in place? You've got yourself a real curious kitty there.
She's very, oh my god, you can't go on the phone. That's where everything is, though. No, she's covering it. Okay, so we're gonna go with, excuse me, may I lift your paw? We're gonna go with the parlor.
The parlor. Oh my goodness, where is that? That is number 4. Right, okay. Yes.
Can't take over the phone, Artie. I need that so I can see where the rooms are.
So the parlor is down here. So tell me, in what way are the Clauses planning to renovate it? What hideous thing is already there?
Hideous. Well, just in general, I mean, like, it also just isn't designed well. It's really ugly looking room. It doesn't match the aesthetic that I would have, just say. But, I think there's suddenly way too many antlers.
Oh! Way too many antlers.
In a very creepy Gaston kind of looking room.
Creepy. Yes. You know when a room just has too many mounted antlers on the wall? And so would you say that maybe they're like just mounted in like that every single wall has at least like 3 or 4 like sets of antlers, varying sizes and in really odd placements as well? Like there's like they're not just like above, there's like some
there's
on the
like
floor.
One like eye level when you walk right in. It's like, oh my, like, this is not accessible for the servants to do our servant stuff. Like, and the vibes of this room, I was gonna have her talk in like a kind of a southern accent, but we're just not gonna do it. But like the vibes of this room are off. You gotta like
room are off.
No, like there's not enough eggnog to make this okay. I don't care how much Amelia makes. There isn't enough eggnog for anybody.
Even Amelia's walking in and just being like, no amount of eggnog that I drink is gonna make this. It's gonna make this work. Some of them are like askew as well, or like twisted in weird directions.
I saw the elves climbing on them like it's a rock climbing gym.
elves. What are they actually doing? Are they actually doing any work? All right. Directions.
Also, my cat is purring, and I felt like that's important information.
That's the most important information, actually. Okay, so you're going to also answer a question about the people.
Okay.
The people of the manor. Roll me a d8.
Okay. Artie, do you want to roll? Okay. That's a 3 again.
3. All right. Who do the staff talk about being too good for this job? And why do you think that's probably not the case?
I feel like we don't have anything yet about Mrs. Ayersworth. So I'm gonna say, yeah, people are always like, Mrs. Ayersworth is like too good for this place. Could be housekeeping somewhere much better, or even just doing much better things. Like the medical advice I've gotten has totally helped me. Stuff like that. And Nevada's just kind of like, okay, but like, there's a reason that she's here. I'm just saying.
Do you know, or would you like to suggest anything specific that you might know about Mrs. Ayersworth? Or at least that you think might be true about Mrs. Ayersworth that would say that that she is not too good for this job?
I feel like maybe like every once in a while on like a rough day or whatnot, because I also imagine Nevada's very judgmental. Like maybe on a rough day, Nevada's had to clean up a little bit after Mrs. Ayersworth. It's like, oh, you're so good at your job, you know, but I've got you slipping. I'm just saying, you're not perfect. You know who is too good though? Royalty. God, that sucks. I hate her.
Royalty.
I'm so excited. I hate her so much.
I think that in any game that is even slightly rooted in trophy, it's good to have a character that is not amazingly likable. All right, so Mrs. Edworth is way too good for this job, and so let's say that you have found mess around that you have certainly presumed to be caused by Mrs. Ayersworth. Whether that's the reality or not is actually up to our good Mrs. Ayersworth, but you have made the assumption that Mrs. Ayersworth is responsible for this mess in some way.
Perhaps the mess is from where you think that she is a bit untidy or maybe too far in her cups, but maybe it's not all of her things that you find.
Oh. I guess it says Worth is way too good for this job. I do also absolutely love the idea of like somebody, if not Mrs. Ayersworth, somebody else, just like Mrs. Ayersworth actually being like way too good at her job and just being like, we need to leave more mess around for Mrs. Ayersworth to tidy up. Like,
making the rest of us look bad.
Yeah, you're making the rest of us look awful. It's the elves. Could be responsible. All right. Thank you very much, Nevada Navidad. Let finally, last but certainly not least, B, I would really like you to tell us a little bit more about Edwin.
Well, I know it's my first day, but Edwin Esquire, just Esquire, and I am very trained as a butler, and Nevada very kindly gave me this recommendation for this job. I might have gotten a little in debt. Just they just a bad hand at cards. It was fine. It's fine. It's my first day, and I'm going to do fantastic. I've already lit at least 3 fireplaces successfully in a row, and I have to say I think that that's a good sign.
Amazing sign. Well done.
Hate Nevada. Love Edwin.
Edwin has already lit 3 fireplaces. I'm sure that Edwin's unusual draw towards fire is absolutely not going to cause anyone any problems in the future. It's going to be absolutely fine.
Super normal.
All right. So you're pretty new to the job. So you've not amassed a whole lot of holiday spirit, but that does also mean that you don't have any ducks that you can give people yet, especially probably not Mrs. Airsworth, who has already decided that you are the worst new addition because you have a better room than Mrs. Airsworth does. However, what I would like you to do now is I would like you to roll me a D8, and we will see which room you are going to answer questions about.
7.
A 7. Ooh, now, this is an interesting one. Where, allegedly, did a crime once occur? And why weren't the authorities called?
Ooh. I heard. Now, listen. I heard little rumors. You're passing through. You're getting introduced to everyone, and they sort of tell you what's going on, and they tell you, who to avoid, who to not. Mrs. Airsworth. I've been told to sort of keep at a distance. She's very good and be very respectful. But I've also heard that in the dining hall that there was a murder, death. Murder might be a strong word. They just said an unexpected demise, and that maybe one of the Claus family might be implicated if the authorities were told. Not necessarily that they did it. No, that's ridiculous. But just they might get blamed.
So there might have been a murder in the dining hall.
Yes.
In the dining hall. And the Claus family would be heavily implicated should this get to the authorities.
Yes, so we just keep it.
So
hush.
would you say that you'd heard that the Claus family collectively made a decision not to report to the authorities because it might reflect badly upon them? Or would you say that a specific member of the Claus family might have made such a decision?
I think perhaps it was, I heard, just scuttlebutt, that it was Gertrude who maybe made the final decision. I've heard that she's really the one running the thing.
I considering what I know about Gertrude's family and what you are all as staff members would know about Gertrude's personality, this absolutely makes sense.
Yes. Oh yes, I have no idea. I'm so glad.
Implicated. Did Gertrude decide not to call the authorities?
Yes.
All right. Do you know, or have you heard who might have been the one doing the murdering? AKA, does this tie in nicely with the rumor about a body being buried somewhere on the estate?
Yeah, I would never implicate someone who gave me a reference.
Yes, of
So
course.
I'm not going to say anything.
Okay, your silence tells me all I need to know. All right. So you have answered about the place. Let's go with your question about the people. Please roll me a d8.
That is a 3.
Roll again.
Yes. That I know I can roll that. What's not a 3? A 2. There we go.
2. Interesting. The plot thickens. Which family member has taken a particular interest in you? And what's their interest? Now, does this potentially tie in with another unconfirmed rumor? I'm very interested to know.
Perhaps. The Lord Santa has he personally came and met me. It was very strange. I wasn't really expecting it. And everybody kind of seemed like it was an unusual occurrence. But he's checked in on me a few times. I'm a little nervous about it. I feel like I'm being tested.
So Santa has been taking a real... I just have this real vision in my mind of Edwin lighting a fire in a room, Santa coming and checking in on everything, like, how are you doing? And just checking in on it. And then just Mrs. Airsworth in the doorway, just like, walking away.
Oh.
If anybody's seen the menu, you know what that look is.
Exactly. Yes.
Taking a real interest in Edwin, and how you've been getting on. Like almost it's almost bordering on annoying at this point. Just
it makes me nervous. I feel like I'm in trouble. He's not mean to me or anything. I just feel like I don't know. I'm going to get caught doing it wrong. Butlering. Do you know? Butlering.
butlering. Butlering. All right. So let me just finish writing that down. So Edwin. Oh no, I've lost everything. There we go. There it is. Just the whole screen just went blank for a minute there, and I was like, please hold as I fix my technology. Okay. So, taking a vested interest in and how he's doing, it makes him nervous. All right. Now, I'm going to ask this question. Where are we at now? We are about an hour in. I have more questions if you want to go around again, or if you'd like, we can call a break here, and then we can get into the game. Obviously, this is just to kind of get ideas sparking, so you're welcome. This is a very collaborative game in terms of world building, so you're welcome to kind of invent more rumors and things like that, and we can kind of yes and it as we go along. It does feel like a pretty good place for us to stop and have a break maybe, but I'm happy for us to answer more questions if you're interested in doing so. Tell me your thoughts, players of mine.
I love answering questions, but I could also use a break, so
Yeah,
I'm down with whatever.
I think we can do rumors in games, so I'm excited to get into that.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's fun. I like that concept.
shall we do that then? All right, so then let's take a 15-minute break from now. We are basically on the hour. We are at 8 o'clock. So we will come back at 8:15, and then we shall be playing. I'm saying 8:15 if you're all in the same time zone as me. This is very... we shall come back at 8:15 on the hour, and in about 15 minutes time, and we shall see how our lovely players get on as we begin to get into the game using the knowledge that they've already gained and perhaps expanding upon it as time goes on. So with that being said, thank you so much for joining us and watching. For those of you that have been here so far, we really appreciate your company and your support. We will see you in 15 minutes time and get into the wassailing. Bye. Hey everyone, we are back with the Wassailing of Claus Manor. We just took a break after starting to sort of build up the manor itself, which is the home of the Claus family. And by build up, I mean find some of the strangest and juiciest rumors that I think that I have ever come across in a world building game. Not only about the manor itself, but about the people that inhabit it. That includes our lovely players, our staff members, and our family members. So now we come to the part of the game in which we get to meet and learn a little bit more about our family members. The way that this is going to work is you will all take it in turns to receive requests from a family member. And as you begin to think about how you're going to answer that request, we will move on to the next person, and it will kind of continue in this circling fashion, and your chaos will probably at times collide. And hopefully we can keep the strange and unusual magic and things happening around our poor Claus family at bay. So, Amelia, I imagine that you are probably in the parlor when you are approached by Snegu. Now, Snegu is the granddaughter of dead Moros, who is Lord Claus's half brother. Okay. She is a very regal, beautiful woman. The sight of her is said to take one's breath away, and she is also a little awkward, a little ill-mannered, and very unaccustomed to formal society. During the moment that you are kind of in her presence, one might be able to clearly see all of your faults and shatter them with a single breath. But she has a generous, if rigid heart. She and her grandfather have only taken up residence at Claus Manor recently, with Dead believing that the change of scenery from the barren tundras of the north will help Snegu better socialize and take her place in the hierarchy of the Claus family tree. The staff believe that this task is far from complete. So, you are sort of in the parlor, and she sort of walks in, and it's kind of strange actually. It's not usual to see a member of the Claus family within the parlor, but she sort of walks in and she kind of has a little look around, and then she spots you, and she's just like, "Oh, Amelia, how are you today?"
Oh, well, hello. I'm doing rather well, all things considered. It's not too cold today, and just kind of like gives one of those like customer service laughs and a smile.
Well, on the contrary, I actually think it's a little bit too warm. That new butler of ours has been going around lighting fires everywhere, and I'm just a little bit. Can we please put out the fire, Amelia?
Certainly. Do you want me to put out the fire in this room? Is there a
Yes.
room in particular?
I mean, if you can put all
Okay.
the fires out in all the rooms, I would be very happy.
Well, that might disturb the environmental levels within the house. It's an old house, or so I'm told.
She kind of is like, she sort of has sort of like sat down on one of the stools nearby, and the parlor is normally a room that's kept a little cooler. It is still warm in here because a fire is lit because the house is quite cold, as you said. But she seems to be sort of fanning herself furiously and very much dramatically taking in the temperature as if it's almost as if it was a hot summer's day, the way that she is kind of lounging around. And as you're talking and you sort of go to attend to the fire, you hear from the next room a low sort of like, it's a low growl, like a snarl like noise. She definitely hears it too, but she seems to pay it little to no mind.
Well, that's none of Amelia's business.
So she sort of like puts her, she's like, oh, can you make me a drink or something? Something cool. I want something cool.
Yes. Would you perhaps like a nice glass of eggnog, my dear? And so, mostly because Amelia wants to be left alone, and the bottle is already half empty. Not that Snegu needs to know this, but from one of the two thigh holsters that Amelia has under the Christmas themed maid outfit that Amelia is wearing, they will pull out a bottle of eggnog, and this is just plain flavored. Snegu does not get the good stuff. The good stuff is kept in the other thigh holster for emergencies. But they will, from somewhere, pull out a glass as well and just sort of, swiftly pour the remaining eggnog into like a nice little crystal cup, one of those like little decanter things, and just sort of pour it out, and then quickly bustle over and be like, here, drink this. It'll cool you down in no time flat.
Oh, I can always count on you, Amelia. Thank you. And she kind of like takes a swig. As she does, that low growl resounds again from the next room, and you watch as in walks or pads, I should say, this large hulking wolf. Certainly not a wolf that you've seen in the house before. Certainly there's a very strict no wolves allowed policy in the house, namely because they're dangerous and could hurt and kill someone. But this wolf seems to kind of walk in, sniff the air, and start to walk towards Snegu, who kind of just looks and goes, "What do you want, Fluffy? No, stop." At this point, the wolf attempts to like bite and go for her, and she's like, get back, and sort of like waves it away as if it's nothing. But this wolf is definitely not in tune with this rather domestic relationship that Snegu thinks that she has with this wolf. And as it kind of like backs off, where she started waving her hands, she kind of like, good boy, and so like leans back, and it kind of eyes you hungrily.
Oh, well, if you behave, I can get you a piece of cheese. Do wolves eat cheese? You're dog shaped. I think dogs like cheese.
No, I
Just
think
be
wolves
good.
eat meat. Do you like him? And she kind of smiles.
Oh, absolutely, madam. He's so rustic in that charming manner that we so favor in the north.
Oh, yes, I do so miss the wild tundras of the north. My grandfather said I shouldn't really bring a wolf in the house, so I'd better not tell him about the other three.
Oh, no, I don't think he was like that, but every hound needs a companion. Where might they be?
Oh, she kind of like looked around somewhere, I imagine. I don't really keep a track of them. It's just I like to keep things, I've been feeling rather homesick, and I just wanted to make the place feel a little bit more like home. So out go the fires, in come the wolves. That's
Absolutely,
okay, isn't it?
absolutely. Yes, of course, they must be allowed to feel comfortable. That's the whole point of these things. Excellent, excellent. Just don't mind me. And so Amelia is just gonna very quickly take a drink from their other eggnog container. This eggnog, because it is sort of their like emergency one on their thigh holster. This one is chocolate nog. So they're just gonna very quickly just like pop the cap, take a quick sip to fortify themselves, and then put it back where it belongs and kind of do a full body shudder. Just and then they seem a bit amped up after that, like, yeah, I can do this. I've had chocolate nog.
And she kind of smiles, and she goes, "I just knew I could count on you, Amelia. If you wouldn't mind helping me, I don't know, keep an eye on them or whatever. I don't want them to cause too much trouble, but just make sure that they don't do anything terrible to people. Wolves can be a little bitey, and not everyone likes that.
Yes, not everyone enjoys the
The
sensation of
wolf
being the
just
gingerbread
snarls
cookie.
at you and takes a step towards you.
Oh, good heavens. You know who might be the perfect person to help me with this? I should consult. I'm going to go consult Miss Esworth. I'll be right back, dear.
Yes. Now mechanically, I need to ask. Are you using a duck and passing this task on to Mrs. Airsworth?
Honestly, I think Amelia's up to the task. I think they would just like a professional second opinion on wolf animal husbandry.
So you want Amelia to take this task?
Yeah, I think Amelia can do it. They just
Mhm.
would feel a bit more comfortable maybe in a different room.
That's no problem. You're welcome to ask for assistance when we circle back round to you as part of your plan. You're welcome to ask for assistance from Mrs. Airsworth, and if Mrs. Airsworth gives you assistance, you will be able to add a die to your roll. But essentially, she's sort of she's giving you this task. She complains that the house is too hot if the windows are closed, which, that's one thing, but a balance needs to really be struck between comfort and roaming predatory canines. So it's pretty clear that she's not overly enamored with really keeping an eye on the walls as such. It's probably best for the wolves to be driven out somehow is your task. You need to find a way of removing the wolf, or at least one wolf that you know where it is from the manor, if you can. So if you're going to take the task, I will leave you for a moment to have a think about how you think Amelia might want to do that. And I will move on to the next person, which is going to be, speaking of, we segue nicely into the camera pans as you say, I'm going to ask Mrs. Airsworth helps. And then we flick over to Mrs. Airsworth. So let me just drawing to see who you are going to be chatting with. Oh, well, that makes a lot of sense. So, Mrs. Airsworth, I think that you would find yourself potentially cleaning Gertrude's bedroom. and sort of keeping everything nice and tidy. When Lady Gertrude Claus makes her way into the room with you. Now, what you know about Gertrude is she is the lady of the house. She is also the chair of operations, so you have quite a lot of just a lot of a rapport with her. Like you see her a lot, and you speak with her a lot, and you mostly directly report to her, I would have thought. You know her to be warm yet reserved. She very much is a woman that gives the impression that she's thinking 2 steps ahead of you, like somewhat of a chess master. So she is often cited, especially within the staff members who know the Claus family well, as sort of more of the brains of the operation behind. Santa is very much the face, and she's the one running the place. Behind her sweet button of a nose and rose-speckled glasses, Lady Gertrude Claus looks at the world through cunning glacier blue eyes. Her presence warms every room, and her habit of appearing unexpectedly in rooms to deliver her personal charm has led the staff to speculate about potential secret passages in the mansion walls. So that is something to think about. You would also know that sort of in more recently, as Christmas has been coming, Gertrude has been, or it's rumoured, whether you believe such nonsense or not is entirely up to you, Mrs. Airsworth, but it is rumoured that Gertrude has been asking staff members if they might be interested in making just a little extra money on the side, but it needs to be hush-hush, very calm, very quiet. And as you kind of like cleaning her room and sort of making everything just so and how she likes it, she walks into the room and she goes, "Oh, Mrs. Ersworth, I thought I might find you in here. I know how you like to keep your schedule. I thought it was about time that you would be in my room."
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, Lady Gertrude. I just wanted to make sure that everything is spick and span for your arrival. I'm very glad to have gotten to everything that I wanted to in this room before you had a chance to inspect it.
Oh, you always do such a wonderful job. And she kind of walks around and she makes a very big show of kind of like inspecting things, and making like very satisfied noises, sort of like how clean and how well you've done everything. It's one of those things that it's not really just for her, it's for you as well. You know, she at least she thinks that you're the kind of person that likes to know that they've done a good job, and so she is the kind of person that will tell you when you've done a good job. And she's an excellent as always, Mrs. Airsworth. You have proved yourself to be essential to operations here. I certainly don't think I could do any of this without you.
Well of you to say so, ma'am.
Speaking of, I did hope to find you here. I have something of a request. It's a little sensitive.
Indeed.
Indeed, but I know that I can trust you, of course. Jane, do you mind if I call you Jane? We're close, aren't we, Jane?
Only you, of course, ma'am.
Of course. Now everyone else must stick with Mrs. Airsworth. You know, it's the time of year that we receive a lot of post.
Indeed.
I mean,
almost as high as the display in the parlor. Yes.
Yes. Oh, yes. The display in the parlor. Yes. So, as she just looks, she gives this real look of just like, oh, you noticed, before she continues on. Now, of course, with so much post coming in and coming out, 'tis hard to keep track of the post that comes from the children and the post that is specifically for, the business, as it were. You understand?
Posts from the children versus the business.
Yes. I am, as you well know, a true believer in the postal system. However, I have learned recently that there has been a clerical error on their end. I'm sure it is to be expected. It's Christmas after all.
What kind of clerical error?
We have been receiving mistaken post that is not meant for us. It is addressed to Gertie Rainclaw's charcuterie, and it looks a little like this. And she kind of pulls out a letter, and it is like nicely penned. Sure enough, it says Gertie Rainclaw's charcuterie. The address underneath it is definitely the address of this manor. And she says, it's a mistake. Obviously, whoever is sending these letters clearly does not know that we are not a charcuterie here. We are a toy shop, and we distribute presents, and we in no way distribute meat. But in any case, some of the letters may have become a little mixed up with the children's post that goes to the Lord of the Manor, and I would so hate for him to see such upsetting content. I mean, really, if you could possibly find a way of sorting through the now let me see, the 50 sacks of children's letter, and finding the letters that are addressed specifically to me, to Gertie Rainclaw, I would be most grateful. Jane.
And how grateful would that be, Mum?
No, well, Christmas is coming, Jane, and with Christmas comes a bonus, does it not?
Ah, that Christmas bonus is always appreciated. And sometimes, if there is a bonus or a gift on top of a bonus, well, that only means that Christmas is just full of good cheer, of course.
She kind of looks at you, and she's got this like very sweet smile plastered on her face. Her eyes are like cold, but you see the smile widen, which you know to mean that you are pushing your luck. You haven't quite pushed it there yet.
Right.
You also know that to mean that she is somewhat desperate. And she kind of smiles wider, and she goes, now, Jane, Mrs. Airsworth, you know that I will ensure you have a very good Christmas.
Always, Mum.
Can I rely on you for this matter?
Absolutely. As you have relied on me in years past. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, for other things.
Yes. And, Jane, when you retrieve those letters, I won't have you waste your time throwing them away. Just bring them to me so that I may, go through them, find out what all this business is, and perhaps I can find them and reunite them with their real owner.
Of course. Would you require that fires are lit in the room when you do happen upon this correspondence?
Let me handle the details, Jane. Just get me the letters, all right? And with that, she kind of turns on her heel and walks out, leaving you behind with this task. You must spare Lord Santa from this postal distraction, and she has asked you to make sure that every piece of Gertie's mail is retrieved from the manor's drifts of received mail. I will ask at this point, you have ducks to spend should you want to delegate, because I doubt it's at this point. I doubt it's get someone that might know better to help you. It's more likely to be a delegation. But if you would like to delegate this task to someone else, then you are welcome to do so.
As much as I would love to, me as a player, I feel like Mrs. Airsworth would be remiss in trying to entrust this to someone else when this is obviously hush hush and shh, in the worst way. So.
Yes. All right. So you are going to perform the task.
Yes.
So have a think about how you would like to do so, and we shall move on to Nevada. Now, Nevada, let's have a little look at who you get. All right. Wonderful. So, Nevada, let's have a look. Where will you be? I imagine that you maybe are just sort of making your way round sort of the back of the house on the outside, sort of from one outside building into the sort of main house proper. So you're just outside when you see Kringler Claus, the adopted daughter of the Clauses. She is a pleasant young lady. She has a proclivity for shiny fur coats. And the one thing that is odd about her that people don't tend to really talk about is she sports two slightly conspicuous lumps of bone on her head that the family physician insists that she'll grow out of. Out of earshot, a lot of the staff members refer to her as the feral one and are convinced that those lumps might grow into horns. She, of all of the Claus family members, appears to be the most invested in sort of the innermost thoughts of others. And she will curiously sort of like prod at people and seems to have a natural curiosity for the way that people think. And she also seems to not particularly like being naughty. She's a bit of a stickler for the rules. She often asks why there aren't more children at the North Pole. It's a very good place, after all, to appreciate the wonders of the world and perhaps even learn some discipline. So, as you're kind of making your way in, you catch sight of her, and she waves at you. And quite often when the mood strikes, she can pass for a very sort of cultured, educated young lady. So she kind of waves at you and she's just like, oh, Nevada.
Hi there, Gumdrop. How are you doing?
Great, just fantastic. How are you? Tell me how you're feeling.
I'm feeling pretty good today. I woke up and had some hot cocoa. A great way to start your morning with hot cocoa. Have you had the hot cocoa that was made this morning?
'Tis the season.
'Tis the season. I strangely warm and cheerful inside.
Really?
Yeah.
Really fascinating. I do so love to hear about how you're feeling, Have you been good?
I have been good. Have you
I'm
been
glad
good?
to hear it. And as she smiles, you would notice that like her fangs, they look a little, they look slightly sharper than you sort of remember them.
I
But
love her.
maybe it's the light. Maybe it's the light. She sort of wraps her very like fur coat around herself, and she says, "Come with me. I have something to show you."
Okay, let's go.
And she leads you off into like a clearing. Sort of, it's surrounded by trees. And as she gets there, she picks something up and turns around. And it's a shirt. It has the word naughty sort of handwritten in like charcoal on the front. And it is absolutely soaked in some horrible, like sticky substance. Like it looks like honey or like a very like amber brown, like maple syrup or something like that. And she goes, "Do you like it?"
It's lovely.
"It's my latest invention.
How does it work?
We're going to use it to test a new discipline system I have thought of."
Uh-huh.
I require your help, though.
Okay.
I need you to help me think of a way to conduct a test on the weight tolerance of said discipline system. Hypothetically, Nevada, if I were to put a person in this, and I were to throw them against a wall, and I were to stick them there until they were sweet again, I want to know how long they'd stay up there, roughly, approximately.
Okay. I see what
Hypothetically, of course.
Hypothetically, it's very for science sake.
But I need a very precise answer to that question. You understand?
I understand.
Yeah? Good. Nevada, you really truly are like my best friend in this place.
I adore you, Gumdrop, you know that.
And I adore you. As long as you're good.
I'm very good.
Good. Yeah, she seems happy enough that you understand the task. You are to find a way of accurately testing how well a very sticky shirt like this could stick someone to a wall and for how long. And she seemed to indicate that she would be present within these tests. So please just bear that in mind.
Okay.
When considering how you are going to maybe put a person up there.
How tall is Edwin?
Huh?
How tall is Edwin?
He's kind of short, actually. He's kind of short.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Kind of short. All right. So what I want to ask you is, are you going to, because I do believe you have a duck token.
I do, but I want to do this.
You want to do this one. I love the idea that none of you are going to spend any of your duck tokens because you just want to do these tasks.
Listen, Nevada is the most naughty out of all of the staff so far. However, I think she just absolutely loves this member of the Claus family. Is like, this kid's great. Like, would they probably kill me if they found out that well, it depends on how naughty you consider murder, you know, but like, other than that, like, it was murder for a good reason. So really that cancels it out, you know.
All right, so you are going to be testing this discipline system. You need to find a way of putting a person in this shirt, and they're going to be up there until it unsticks and falls down. So just, you know, perhaps the second murder. I don't know. All right, so that is your job. Have a think about how you're going to do it. And we will move on then to Edwin. Edwin, let's see who we draw for you. So, who is? I have not actually been putting these in piles, which I should have done. Let's put that there. Oh, it won't let me. Okay, that's fine.
I see the Nevada is actually the worst. That is true, but I'm still should feel like I should stand up for her.
All right. Yeah, that's actually kind of perfect. I have just drawn Santa for you, so I.
Yes!
So you're making your way room to room, and you now. Obviously, he's been bugging you a little all day, I think. Here's what you do know about Santa. The world has obviously sung songs of mystique and praise for this Advent Cavalier, harbinger of justice and generosity. The Lord of the House, however, has succumbed a little to the pressure of his title. But he is jolly, benevolent, if a little intimidating. His interactions with you so far have been generally warm and amiable. He has a deep, bellowing voice. He gives this sort of impression that should you cross a line with him, it might take a lot to wear down his patience. But should you wear down his patience, he will ensure that you do not do so again quite so easily. So he is intimidating, but seems friendly enough so far. He also has a very distinct smell of sugar cookies, damp moss, spiked eggnog, and crushed rosemary, sort of all almost like it's almost overpowering. So like when he gets up in your personal space, it's a very overpowering, it's not an unpleasant smell, but all of those smells at the same time mixed together is just a bit much, and it kind of makes you a little bit. He has been, and this is what you will know as you've been sort of shown around the place by the other staff members, and they've kind of explained some of the things that have been going on. You will know that some of them have noted that he has begun to lose track a little of where he is, what he's saying, sort of references deliveries from holidays past as if he is there right now. And perhaps, he's come to you a good 3 or 4 times at this point, kind of coming to check on you and commend you on your work, and you might think to yourself that, well, perhaps it's just where he's getting a little muddled. It's the most stressful time of the year for our dear Santa. And so as you sort of step cautiously into his study to probably go and light the fire,
Someone's been putting them out.
You sort of walk down the hallway, you open the door, and for just a moment behind you, you hear like what sounds like a snarl or a growl, and as you sort of turn to look, you watch as this sort of like sort of shadow of like this 4-legged beast sort of darts off into another room, and then the door from the other side of where you're about to go in opens, and he goes, "Oh, Edwin, my boy, come in."
Hello, sir. Hello. Just coming in to check on things. You know, the whole thing I'm supposed to be doing. Just
yes.
Sorry to bother you. Sorry to bother you, though.
How are you getting on?
Oh,
It's your first day, isn't it?
Yes. It's fabulous. I'm sorry to bother you. I'm sure you're very busy.
nothing. It's nothing. No, I am incredibly busy, actually. But no, it's no trouble at all. Here, have a cookie. And he kind of gestures to a plate on his desk.
He very nervously takes one, just like, thank you.
Come on,
so
boy,
much."
eat up.
Yeah. he takes a bite and like doesn't know whether to talk with his mouth full or not. So he just kind of does the thing where you cover your mouth while you chew and talk because he doesn't want to be rude in front of Lord Santa.
Best cookies of the 1500s, isn't that right?
Absolutely. The best cookies in any century, I'm sure.
Yes. Now this is going to sound like an odd question, but what room is this?
Oh, one second. And he looks around just to double check. I believe it's your study.
My study?
Yours, I believe so.
Study.
Last time I checked.
Nice. Just testing. He kind of has another glance around. Yes, it's your first day.
Yeah.
Just making sure that you know where you're going.
Doing my best, sir. Doing my best. Is there anything I can do for you? I'm sure that you have your way of doing things, but I also know, but the person in the prior person in my position, I'm sure, did things for you and others.
Absolutely. That person, I'm certain, did do things for me. He seems a little confused as he's talking.
They're on the same page then.
And so you're both very much on the same page. And he says, I did, I do have a matter. Now you understand it will require some discretion.
Oh, of course. Discretion is my middle name.
Is it?
No, actually.
Very good. I'm going to put this bluntly. I have been a little overwhelmed this year, we're late in the 11th century now, and things have been overwhelming. The population has boomed, despite the plague, and I have been dabbling in the magical arts. I've been trying to find ways to accomplish twice the tasks, you see? And I need you to help me find me.
Is this another test?
In a manner of speaking, you seem a little like, I've asked you some of these questions before. Is that correct?
A few, but not this one.
Here's the thing. It wasn't me. It was the other me. I have been making duplicates of myself, and I need you to find my double, convince him to stay put somewhere, that I can go and talk things out with him, He's supposed to do as he's told, but yes, and he's the double, you understand?
Yes.
I'm the real Santa. He's the double. I need you to go and find him, and I'll handle the rest. Once you've told him, tell me where he is, and get him to stay put, and I'll handle the rest. Now, Edwin.
Yes,
as this conversation sort of dawns, what you begin to realize, or what is really slowly impressing upon you, is that this is the fourth time that Santa has approached you with a request of a similar nature today. Each Santa is ever so slightly different, and each really seem to believe themselves to be the true Lord of the Manor, while the others are doubles. But your task is to find a Santa and keep them in a place, then find another Santa and let them sort themselves out. All right.
Also,
Now I
one's
believe that you
probably your
don't have
dad.
any duck tokens.
Yeah, I don't have any ducks, and one's definitely maybe my dad. And I've definitely thought he was not telling I thought it was like a joke for the first 3 times. And
Yeah,
this is the
yeah.
final it's finally
I think
dawned
the
on me
first
this is
3
real.
times you thought there was it was a joke, and then it was, or maybe it's a little bit muddled, a little bit
Yeah.
confused. It's beginning to dawn on you that maybe there is something to this, what is being said to you. And as you kind of exit the study, you hear in a room nearby, oh, Edwin, come here! And then we'll kind of cut away from you.
I have to say, then this just gives Edwin just so much more choice of like, who's daddy? I mean,
Yeah.
What a weird version of Mamma Mia we're doing.
yes, yes. Oh my god.
Yeah, this is actually what this is.
Oh
Okay.
my god.
So, we're gonna
Meryl
head back
Streep
now. We're
just
gonna head
shows
back.
up. Not Meryl
We're gonna
Streep.
head back to Basil, and to poor Amelia. Now, have you had a think, Amelia, about how you might accomplish this task that you have been set?
Yes, and I actually had a gameplay question. So regarding
Yes.
Amelia's background, I noticed that one of the words was captivity. Now, is that a skill I can use?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, because my thought was to use part of my background as a city mouse to create a trap for the wolves that would humanely, not this is not like a bear trap situation. This is more like, you know, a kind of like picnic basket Yogi Bear kind of deal here where like the little mouse trap like game version comes down, that giant cage kind of deal, something humane to like get the dogs but also not hurt the dogs but also get them to stay still. So hopefully Amelia, maybe with some, unnamed in this game help, can help drag them outside where they'd probably be happier. But Amelia's plan is basically to try to get like one of the humane traps that's probably in the manor somewhere. Honestly, considering the wild parties that the elves seem to be getting up to, I feel like there's probably like a corralling sort of trap where they kind of just, it's like a mobile drunk tank more or less. And so that's why they're going to go talk to Mrs. Airsworth, who's been there longer and would have a better idea maybe of where we keep the my brain immediately went where we keep the chokey, and it's like, no, not that.
Well, we keep the choke, the humane chokey.
The humane
right,
one with less nails.
So first of all, you're using your skills to aid you with this task to try to basically create this trap. So I'm gonna say that you have a light die off the bat that you can roll, just because you're using skills essentially. You're using from your profession and background. You are seeking assistance from Mrs. Airsworth, which could potentially give you another light die should Mrs. Airsworth have a moment to give you a hand. Mrs. Airsworth, are you willing to give any kind of hand to Amelia?
I think she's going to say something like, "A little tit for tat, dear. If I help you with this, I would so appreciate your assistance in something that I am working on.
Yes, of course. That would be great, honestly. The sooner I deal with these hounds, the better. The smell is I I I don't quite believe that they've been bathed or even dewormed. I don't have pets of my own, but they seem a little too wild. So the less I have to touch them and they have to be here, I think is better for all of us.
Agreed.
Mhm.
So yes, I think Mrs. Airsworth is going to agree to this and give a hand.
All right. Okay. So you have got assistance from a fellow staff member, so you may add another light die. So you'll be rolling 2 light die. Now, obviously, what happens is you roll the dice and you accept the highest of whatever you roll, and that is either going to be, if it's a 6, it's a full success. If it's a 4 to 5, it's a mixed success, and if it's a 1 to 3, it is a failure. If you wish to add a 3rd die to your roll, which will be a dark die, you must be willing to risk a little bit of your soul, whatever that means. Did you want to add a dark die to your roll?
Hmm. That's a good question. I think Amelia will wait. I think they're still confident where they're at and
Mhm.
having gotten some advice on
Mhm.
what to do with the hounds.
So you're going to roll
I don't think
2
it's
die.
quite yeah. I don't think it's gotten that dire.
Not
Which
gotten that
one does
die yet.
yet?
What I will say as well is that the highest value obviously determines the results. If the dark die shows the highest value, and that value is higher than your current holiday spirit, which I believe is at 2, all involved staff will have their holiday spirit increased. So because you were being aided, that meant that both you and Mrs. Airsworth would have your holiday spirit increased. So that's something to bear in mind in terms of, and I probably should have mentioned that earlier, but that's something to bear in mind is when more than one staff member is involved in helping with a certain thing, that is going to impact your holiday spirit if it still fails. Would you please then roll for me those 2 die? Where have I got this? I've got this up. Yes, on the trophy, and you're just rolling 2 light die at this point.
Okay, do I click the one that says am I doing
Risk.
the ruin? Which one am I doing?
Risk.
So
Or
you
just
go
roll
click onto
risk? Okay.
risk, and then just
Okay.
2 light die, 0 dark.
Okay. Let's see here.
Ooh,
Okay,
a
so I
5?
think
Not
yeah.
So
That's
success with a
pretty good.
complication, but you can also risk it for a biscuit and add a dark die to
You can.
reroll.
Yeah. So as well, you can always, if you're unhappy with your result, you can always like add a dark die and just keep adding dark die essentially.
Until the dark die
But
determined
obviously,
that that's the highest, and then you can't roll anymore.
yeah.
So
All right. So you are you happy with your 5, or do you want to re-roll with the dark die?
I think I'm happy with my 5 because I think there's like 4 wolves in the house or something. Well, more than one. There are multiple wolves roaming, and I feel like even with advice and Amelia, who's for my own visualization's sake, is probably as tall as me, so 5'2" if all of my limbs are in their sockets, or otherwise 5'3", probably is not fully equipped to deal with like all of these dogs and lugging whatever trap they've put together. So I think a 5 is good.
5 is good, yeah. Okay, so mixed success. The attempt succeeds, but there is a complication. If the attempt was to quell a trouble, which is what it was, this trouble is tenuously quelled. And I will draw a new card and then shuffle the quelled card into the draw pile as well. So essentially, we haven't like discarded that family member; they're still kind of active and ready to cause trouble at a moment's notice. I would love for everyone to kind of come up with some ideas. I'm very much about the group world building that this game kind of offers. So you're going to succeed. You're going to end up being able to kind of trap these wolves and get them out that way. But there is going to be a complication as a result. So if anyone wants to put forward an idea for a complication.
One of the wolves heads towards where you keep that special barrel of eggnog.
My nog!
And I think that that wolf specifically knows Mrs. Airsworth.
I can't even add to that. I think that that's fabulous because I was also going to say that something does happen to your eggnog.
So
Amelia's true love.
is it that it's heading towards the special barrel? Where is the special barrel?
That is a good question. Let me look at the map because I had an idea of where it was going to be. Let's see. I think. Oh, yeah. I think that's what. Is that where I was going to? I think I had it somewhere around. Go away. I had it somewhere around the lift to the workshop, like kind of like tucked into
Ooh,
like to the right of the 15, like in that weird kind of like Tetris L block.
the Tetris L. I see it. I see it.
Yeah. What also on
Let's
that
see.
note, what kind of lift are we talking about? Because this is 20th century. Are we talking like dumbwaiter kind of deal? Because I kind of imagined
I
Amelia
feel like
having.
dumb waiter style. Yeah.
Okay, because I kind of feel like Amelia has it where the dumbwaiter has to be up and they crawl underneath, and there's like a sort of like it's not like a fake door, like it's clearly it's like one of those things where you kind of push a brick and it kind of moves like with enough force out of the way. So it's it's also kind of dangerous because it's like if you're not paying attention, that lift will come back down on you if someone's like moving stuff. But also no one is going to try to like look or clean over there because it's too dangerous to be mucking around in there. But I feel like probably one of the reasons why the wolf was able to get over to the special stash is Amelia was having a little too much fun with the nog and forgot to close the door all the way. So it's definitely open and there's like a draft, and the sickly sweet smell of nog has been kind of just floating around just enough for animal noses to detect.
All right. And what? So that wolf gets there. What do you imagine happens once that wolf is get there that makes it a complication? Do they begin to drink some of the eggnog? Do they? You got someone helping you? Perhaps Mrs. Airsworth is dealing with that particular wolf and might find something strange while over there.
I think that that Mrs. Airsworth is kind of whispering to the wolf and it's like,
Gerald, you're not supposed to be in the house.
and then I think as she's saying that, I think maybe either a limb or maybe a face starts to float up. I don't know. I mean, like, how would
Oh
you
yeah,
Oh.
I
put it?
definitely I had the thought of like the wolf like clawing at the side of the barrel and it starts leaking out, and then like right through a wide enough crack it kind of turns and you see like something kind of float by like hair or something.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh. So
Yep.
it's got that
You see an
sickly
eye.
sweet smell of eggnog. You would like look at this barrel and think this is eggnog at first.
Yes.
Mrs. Airsworth. And then it's exactly as described. This wolf is kind of very, very attracted to this eggnog. And you're trying to kind of lure this, the last one left in the manor. The rest have sort of been trapped in this cage and sort of taken out. And it starts to sort of claw at the barrel. And you begin to realize that it's not just the smell of eggnog that this wolf is attracted to. There's this slight stench of rotting in that eggnog. Like it's gone off a bit. It's not quite right. And as you get a little closer, you see sort of like you kind of like peer in, like crack open the lid just a little bit, and you can see just this this hair or hair-like substance is like floating on the top of this barrel, and then all of a sudden it's like it's whatever it is like pulled under, and the hair just sort of like disappears. It's certainly enough to startle you, Mrs. Airsworth. And this wolf suddenly it's not so attracted to this barrel anymore. In fact, it looks almost frightened, and it growls and yelps and runs off into the nearby woods. And I think that because you have just seen something unsettling, Mrs. Airsworth, shall we say, I'm going to get you to do the first spirit roll. When a servant character witnesses or undergoes something that's particularly troubling, determine how deeply it chills them. I want you to roll 1 dark die, and if the roll is higher than your current holiday spirit, I would like you to increase your holiday spirit by 1.
Of course. All right. So this would be the ruin roll on the trophy die.
It would.
Trophy die roller.
Yes, the ruin roll on the trophy die.
Yes! Woo! 6. Sorry.
Of course, you're happy about this.
Of course.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yes. So, please tell me, narrate to me how and why the event phased you, and tell me what you have just been upgraded to in terms of your spirit.
I think for the brief flash that I saw, it looked amazingly like a dampened, a wet Amelia? But that's impossible. I looked back and I saw her. I saw them there. They were behind me, caging the other wolves. What? And Gerald's in the house. And he does have his own sweet tooth, of course, but that something like that in his favorite tipple was not going to be healthy for him. Oh, hopefully I'll be able to find him later. But this... And I thought... I thought there was a body buried out in the back. Interesting.
All right. So, you have now been upgraded. So, in your holiday spirit, you were already at 3, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So now, number 4, a sharp icicle is just as fun to throw as a snowball. Tag everyone you can with a holiday ice dagger. So, I feel like the way that this kind of sounds is you have maybe been startled into becoming you've become just a little jumpy, just a little on edge, and maybe just carry something around with you just in case. I do love the idea of you just like stab first, ask questions later.
I think it's pretty much a situation of where she has kind of not chased, but I mean has glided to the outside door where she watches the wolf called Gerald leave, but then she sees the icicles like hanging from the eaves and such, and then breaks one off surreptitiously and keeps it with her.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah.
All right, and well, let's move on to how you're going to address this issue with the post. So, you've been asked to go and find Gertie's mail. Are you going to be first of all, what's the plan? How are you going to do it?
I think she's going to go up to Amelia, of course, after they finish with the other wolves that they've captured, and then pretty much, intimate that now I've done you a favor. I think it is time that we complete the bargain. And then she will invite Amelia to come with her to like, where we have the stacks of mail. Oh boy. And then I think, we just know that it's like what we're looking for is the whole Gertie's reindeer charcuterie. Um, and then while I have Amelia looking in like one sack and then trying to do it like, the usual way as much as possible, I think Mrs. Airsworth is going to, um, let's see. Well, she does think fast and she does believe in miracles, I guess. So I mean, like that's kind of the skill that she wants to use, and kind of like this whole idea of overseeing. Like, so I mean, like I know it's like you don't build up die according to the skills, but I mean, like just like anything and everything that I can throw at
Yeah.
this dice pool.
So obviously you can like it doesn't matter if you use 5 skills or
Yeah,
1 skill, you're only getting 1 dice from it.
Sure.
But yes, I absolutely do adore the idea of you being like, help me, and then you just watching and overseeing the thing happening. And I feel like Mrs. Airsworth is definitely a character that somehow miracles seem to happen around her, and everyone's like, it can't possibly be done, we'll never get the feast prepared in time. But with Mrs. Airsworth overseeing things, it always happens, even when it's impossible.
Right.
So yes, in which case you may have 1 light die from that. You are going to get a light die from having help. Well, this is the thing, is Amelia, are you willing to help Mrs. Airsworth?
I mean, I don't think there's a reason why they wouldn't. They don't know what happened with the, special year eggnog. So, they're definitely rooting around in the sack, looking at the letters, going, okay. Well, wow, what poor penmanship. And just kind of just try to be helpful. And then occasionally be like, is this one it? Wait, no, hold on. No, sorry, never mind.
All right.
So no, I think they're helping.
Cool. So you get another light die from that. And then are you willing to sell a piece of your soul?
Of course. I think
I knew the answer would be yes.
I know. For me, yes.
What a silly question.
What a dumb question. I don't even know why I asked. I should have just said, and of course Mrs. Airsworth is selling a piece of their soul. Or at least risking it.
Yes.
So you may add a dark die.
Yep.
And if you can please roll all 3 die for me.
Okay. Alrighty. Is this where I can ask for a twist, or it's like that? Like I've already like built up my dice pool.
So here, it talks about twists, but it basically says, will you accept a twist or assistance from a fellow staff member?
Okay.
Which seems to imply that if you're getting assistance, then we
don't
don't
need
need to worry about twists. Yeah.
Okay.
But twists are fun, and I knew that you would ask this question because they're awesome. But if you're not getting help, then there is another way for you to add a light die.
No problem. Okay. And we roll. Okay. For dark. So.
Of course.
Yes, of course.
Okay. So you rolled. So the 4. Now, you've just upgraded to a 4, haven't you?
Yes.
So it's not actually higher than your ruin.
Right.
So you don't go up even further this time around. But you get the 4. It is a mixed success. So again, I open up to the table. You will succeed in locating all these letters, but please tell me, and that includes you as well, Mads, you can also think of something. What complication arises that might cause some trouble later? Go on, Nux.
I think somebody's coming by to they have like either a complaint or something, and they're physically coming to the manor to talk about this complaint.
Oh my god. I think maybe one of the Santa duplicates
yes
runs into them.
Yes. Or like even I was thinking like one of the Santa duplicates picks up like, comes in all
Yes.
blustery and like jovial and like picks up all of the letters for the kids, and then maybe like accidentally, I mean, because we did like, collect all the letters in piles and such, but
Yes.
maybe one slipped out and like, is in the Santa sack, is in the Santa kids letter sack.
Ooh.
Could happen.
So we have talk me through this. So we have a Santa duplicate.
Yeah.
Now has a pile of letters that might or might not still have one of these reindeer letters inside. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. And was there something about someone is coming to complain?
Not what I meant to do. Yeah, I think there's an angry customer
Of the charcuterie.
of the charcuterie
Nice. Yes.
who's like, I've been writing to you. You haven't been answering me in a way that I approve. So I'm gonna take myself down there to this address and voice my complaint in person where you can't ignore me. I don't think this is organic reindeer.
I love it. I love it.
So I feel like the way that this happens is this person in the middle of you, kind of like you've got all of this stuff out in the courtyard. You're trying to like sort through these sacks because there's a load of them, and at the same time, this customer kind of like walks into the courtyard. They've let themselves in, which is most improper to begin with, and they are looking for Gertie to voice this complaint. And of course, Mr. Airsworth, you are trying to shield Gertie's interests. You want to earn that bonus, and so you're trying to deal with this. At the same time, a Santa duplicate kind of walked by with this. Has anyone seen Edwin? I meant to ask him about how his first day's going.
Oh my God. Yes.
And I meant to ask them, and we're trying to deal with these two, and then this customer turns and starts like just unloading all of their complaints to this Santa duplicate.
Sir, no. You must make an appointment. This is not the time nor the place. I would be glad to have you here, over here. Let's show you into the parlor and take you in for some tea, and then we can discuss this like civilized people. But not the time.
And the Santa and you see this. I'm going to say that you see this happen as you're trying to hurry. This Santa goes, well, I'm not sure what's going on here, but it seems you have it all in hand, Mrs. Airsworth. So, and you can see the mind's ticking a little bit, but he's got other things in his mind, and he hoists up one of these sacks. And as he does, one of the letters that you sort of put aside on a table, sort of is tipped into the sack, and you watch in horror as it kind of ends up in the sack, and he holds it over his shoulder. I'll leave you to deal with this, and off he goes. So you know that he has one of those letters, and there's no way that you're getting it back because this customer is just really on one with you, and you're trying to like deal with that situation because some of the other staff members are starting to take note of what's going on, and it's all becoming a little out of hand.
Nothing to see here. Go back to work, each one of you.
Yes.
Now.
They hurry off. All right, so you succeeded. We'll move on then. Nevada Navidad. Please tell it's my favorite thing every time it comes up. So tell me how you are thinking that you are going to deal with Kringler's request.
So Kringle really hates when people are naughty, right? I doubt that that's just children. So if we find someone who's child size, but an adult that maybe wronged somebody, So hear me out. Go on this journey with me, Kat. I what to do.
Right.
So, one, did Kringla say that she has a way? Once I just have to find the person, or have to find a way to get the person on the wall?
You have to help Kringla conduct the test. So you need to find a person. Is the main part of it.
Okay, because I was also thinking about a way to find the way to
And
get them on the wall.
you
but...
can find a way to get the person on the wall as well. Kringla wants someone hurled at the wall, but you could find a way of allowing that to not actually be the case.
Gonna do it. I was gonna do it. It's what Kringla wants. So, okay, two things. One, Edwin. I want to go see my good buddy Edwin.
Fuck.
Edwin, it's your first day. And Nevada has come to see you. You've heard some scary things about Nevada, actually. Apparently, Nevada killed someone. That's what you've heard. That's what you've heard.
Frankly, that sounds right. But I would never. I staunchly defend Nevada when I hear this. I'm a little busy, a little flustered when she comes by. Oh, it's just you. Hello, Nevada. Hi.
Edwin.
Hi. How?
Darling.
Oh, hello. Just the,
Yeah, all that.
all that. Oh.
So, okay, I'm just gonna be blunt. You owe people money, right? I was trying.
Okay.
You owe people money?
You do not whisper well. Yeah, yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes, you know this.
How short are they?
Some feedback for you right there.
How short are they?
How short are the people you owe money? Are they about your height?
I mean, maybe one of them. I didn't.
Perfect. Where are they?
I mean,
Do you like owing people money, buddy?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Do you have a way to fix this?
I'm just doing my job. Kringla really hates when people are naughty, and you're so good. I'm sure she wouldn't like someone being naughty and harassing you for money that is yours.
Oh, yeah, yes. Oh, yes, absolutely. Of course, yes. And he scribbles down an address of like a really kind of like a less than savory pub in town, in the nearby town that now I'm not sure they're always there. You're not going by yourself, are you?
Oh, don't worry about me, dear. I can take care of myself. Second question. Do you know anybody with a trebuchet?
Now that one is difficult.
I'm gonna just interrupt. Mechanically, okay. I'm gonna just make some assumptions here. So are you using any of your skills or your background skills to
I'm gossiping right now.
I feel like gossiping this I can include this in gossiping, I think. Finding out some of the gossip about some of the people that owe money. I will also just say that I think that this is Edwin helping. So that's two light die for you. What about a dark die? Did you want to risk a little bit of your soul and a little bit of Edwin's soul? And do you know what I just realized, or I just remembered? And I can see that someone else has remembered at the same time. Mrs. Airsworth was having help. So actually, that dark die should have impacted poor Amelia as well. It's just suddenly that's just suddenly reminded me.
was wondering about that.
So yeah, I completely forgotten about that. My apologies. This is my first time playing this game. So what did you roll? You rolled a 4, right? A 4. Yeah, so that is higher than Amelia's holiday spirit. So Amelia, your holiday spirit would increase by 1 as a result. Amelia has something of a sweet tooth. So you increase to nothing tastes sweeter than something stolen. Eat others' candy first. All right. So are you risking a bit of yours and possibly Edwin's soul?
Maybe later.
Maybe later, so not now. So roll your 2 light die, if you will.
Okay. I rolled a 5.
Oh, a 5. Y'all are rolling well, you know. Okay, so that is a mixed success. I open to the floor, but first of all, what I am gonna just say, I'm gonna address the elephant on the clock, as it were. We are about 20 minutes away from our time, our agreed sort of 3-hour time. We haven't actually gotten to play lots of rounds of this game, I know, but I think that what I'm going to do, in the interest of being fair and making sure that we adhere to our timing, is that I am going to, after we've had our final person address their task, I'll end the game there and do a sort of epilogue. And I apologize for that, because it would have been cool to have kind of seen the game advance a little bit more. Yeah, well, let's do the mixed success then. So anyone is free to put forward what they think might be the problem or the complication that arises. I can think of a few.
Yes.
Yes.
So let me put this to you this way: you have to get them in that shirt. This person that you are, I guess, kidnapping. You have to get them in the shirt. You have to find a way to get them on the wall. And if there is anything that Kringler has asked you to do that you are not willing to do, you have to find a way to deceive Kringler into thinking that you have achieved that. So complications could arise from any of those things.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's possibility that you are followed to the manor by other people, because there's no way Edwin only owes one person money.
Yes, that's so
Yep.
perfect. I think what possible complication is that one of the Santa duplicates, another one, not the one who took the sack of letters, was probably like, "Oh, you're doing this to help out Edwin? I'll come too."
Oh no!
These Santa duplicates are running riot.
I love this. I
I'm
love this.
obsessed.
You have no idea.
I like the idea as well that in the background, and we'll get to Edwin in a second, Edwin has just been trying to keep track of all the Santa duplicates. So this one has number 16 written on their forehead in ink.
Yes.
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 All right. So, okay, yes, that
Wait,
sounds
Basil,
like the perfect complication. So maybe you don't need to deceive Kringler. Maybe you need to deceive our good Santa duplicate. And of course, maybe in the process, you are followed in taking this person, and they see Edwin walking past in a window, and they rub their hands together with glee and go, "Found you."
Delicious.
I had a possible complication, considering that Amelia's sweet tooth has just increased. When it was first described as a shirt covered in something sticky, I feel like Amelia, especially because it does not belong to them, would be wanting to try out that shirt, not to wear, but to sample. So I think
I
I
love
think that
this.
very much like they would have perhaps, sort of temporarily borrowed the shirt for a bit, and it's just kind of like
Love,
mm,
love,
and just
love.
getting out like this little tiny
So
vial
good.
to try to wring out some of the shirt to use for their nog later.
Okay, so maybe
Basil, I love
we have
you.
we have a whole mess of complications at this point. Edwin has been found. Santa duplicate needs big distracting, and you realize, Nevada, that when you have this everything in front of you, and Kringler is sort of walking on her way towards you, and you're like, I have everything. I have the victim. I have the and
Amelia, get back here, sprays with water.
you do succeed because you are obviously a tailor. You quickly pull off the shirt of this person and dip it in honey, but obviously it does not have Kringler's like special formula on it. It does not have. You can see that compared to what Kringler had like devised, it is not the same. It's not the same level. It's enough that it fools Kringler into thinking it's the correct shirt, because you do succeed. But I just love the idea of this person just being flung against the wall, and within like 2 minutes they just drop. And Kringler looks a bit confused for a moment. Oh, it's a disappointing result. I was hoping for a bit longer than 2 minutes, maybe like 2 days or 2 weeks, or
I can keep them somewhere so that we can test it again later.
What would I do without you?
I got you.
Instantly all smiles again, those little like fangs glinting. The fear. Okay, we're gonna go through Edwin's, and then I'm gonna wrap up. So Edwin, please tell me how you are planning to deal with getting a Santa Claus to stay still for like longer than a couple of minutes.
So actually, I plan to get all the Santa Clauses in one room. I have.
Overachiever.
Yes. Well, I figure that's the best way to guarantee at least 2 of them meet. And so I'm using the bluffing and mathematics and management, like all those 3 things.
Yeah.
And I've been numbering, like giving them like little like notes, or like you said, numbering them on their foreheads, whatever I can do to kind of like denote which one's which, and have all been like, oh, sir, I would love your advice on something. Could you please meet me in the parlor? Could you meet me somewhere? And like I've all want to congregate them, probably not in the parlor because that's where all the letters are. That's a bad idea. Probably in his study or wherever is closest to the first guy I met. And that's the study. And so that's my goal, is to get them all in one room.
All right. Well, I love the idea of you bluffing up a reason why the numbers are having to go on the forehead. Like, you're playing a game. I'm playing a game.
Oh yeah, it's a Christmas game. You know, you play games on.
Oh,
Christmas.
I love Christmas.
yes, and it's a new one. I have a new Christmas game, and I need your advice.
Okay, so you kind of bluff your way into essentially, it's like hide and seek, but with counting, and it's really weird. And a little bit of call my bluff in there, and just this amalgamation of strange Christmas games that do not go in together at all. And you manage to get these people together, right? Or we'll see how well you do in a minute. Are you getting any help, or are you asking for any help, or would you like to introduce a twist?
Do a twist. We haven't done one. Let's do it.
Let's do a twist. So a twist, essentially, is a sort of like a devilish bargain. So you get to add another light die instead of a dark die. But what it means is essentially it's like a complication, but it's like it will, no matter what, this will happen. So twists might include causing collateral damage or unintended harm, sacrificing an important item, revealing secret information that might accidentally happen in the process of you achieving. So no matter what the result is, this will happen. So you people are free to propose twists as well. I'm doing exactly the same as I do with complications. Feel free. I want to hear people's ideas for twists.
The rest of the people you owe money to rush into the room.
And from another room, from another door in the room, whatever, comes walking in Lady Gertrude.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Let's
do all
let's
that.
have those things happen then. Let's just get as much chaos in as we can before we wrap up this game.
Yes.
So no matter what, Lady Gertrude is going to come and investigate the commotion, and your indebted past will catch up with you. I would like you to roll 2 light die, and are you willing to risk a bit of your soul and add a dark die?
Of course I am.
Of course. Okay, roll a dark die as well for me, please.
All right. I've got a 5 on a dark and a 5 on a light.
The dark is always going to supersede the light.
My ruin goes
so
up. Yes.
your Christmas spirit does raise by 1.
Yes.
Which, you know, you had the lowest anyway. So you are well on your way to becoming an arsonist now. And I think that what happens is you bluff into playing this game. All of your Santas kind of end up, and you, because it's hide and seek and you don't, like, you want all of them to get together, you've turned out the lights in the study and you've told them that they have to like hide somewhere in the study. So they're all going in there and they're all finding places. And I do, because I just love imagining slightly dumb himbo Santa. I do love the idea of him going in there and then sitting next to his duplicate and accidentally like brushing up and he, oh, terribly sorry, oh no, it's quite all right. And they're kind of like all next to each other, kind of like having this conversation. And it's at this point, as you kind of go in there and you're like, right, now how do I get to this next stage where I'm like, I've got you all together, like how do I handle this? You settle down next to a figure that you imagine is Santa, and then you turn and it's the person or one of the people that you owe money to, and they're kind of hidden. They've somehow been dragged into the game, and they're talking to each other. They haven't realized that you're there yet. You are just starting to back away slowly as they're kind of whispering to each other, go, when I get my hands on them, I'm gonna mince them up in the mincer. And they're kind of like telling all these things that they're gonna do, and you're trying to slowly back out the room. And at this point, a Santa falls out of their hiding place, knocks things flying. Another Santa is sort of trips over, and then it becomes this whole thing. And Lady Gertrude walks in and goes, what on earth is going on? Who turned out these lights? And pulls the lever trunk, and the lights come up, and you are face to face with the people that you owe money to, who sort of yell, get them! And then the Santas at the same time all face each other and go, what are you doing here? I'm the real Santa. No, I am. And they all engage in fisticuffs. I feel like that's a good place to end, but I have questions for
God bless everyone.
Yeah, I think that we'll end it there, because otherwise we are in danger of overrunning. So thank you all for playing with me, first of all, and I do apologize that we didn't get to see the game through to its end. Maybe I'll have to find a way of just, in the middle of June or something, just having a halfway through the year Christmas, and we'll just continue this. I don't
I'm
know.
okay with that. I'm okay with this.
I actually have like
I actually
I actually have a couple of lines of an epilogue because I already figured out what how
Go for it.
the end.
Each of you, what I'll do, I'm gonna go round and get you all to introduce yourselves and everything like that. But I also want you to just imagine a scenario of the Christmas period is over. How did your character fare, and sort of what intriguing thing kind of hints at what the future might hold in store, but how did we kind of calm, I guess, everything back down again, or how did everything go very chaotically wrong? And we'll go around, and if each of you kind of come up with a couple of things and also introduce yourselves as people, and kind of talk about what you do, and then I'll do me last. So we'll go backwards this time. Let's go for our beloved butler first. Tell me how Edwin fared after the holiday period is over. Did Edwin ever find out who their true dad was? And talk about yourself, B.
I'm gonna build some suspense and very shortly introduce myself first. Hi, if you don't know who I am, I'm Binar. I'm a voice actor, and I do tabletop RPG stuff when people let me play pretend with them, and I really love it. You can find me anywhere at Sassy Lich. Lich. I know it does. Yeah, don't worry about it. But I think what everyone's more interested about is what happens to this absolute train wreck of a man. And I think in the chaos, he backs up into a candelabra, and he reactively just tosses it at his debtors, and their sleeves catch on fire, and they just go up in flames. And of course, there's enough sinners in the room that eventually gets put out, but Edwin made no move to do so, and in fact, he makes no move to try to clear his name about it or anything, because it all kind of gets settled in a way that Gertrude looks at the charred bodies of these debtors and at Edwin and just says, we keep things hush-hush in this family. Don't worry.
I'm here for it. And Gertrude turns towards Edwin and puts her hands on Edwin's arms and goes, we do indeed, my darling son. And then sort of looks at this sort of commotion of Santas and is just like, I'll have this tidied up. Mrs. Airford!
Absolutely.
I need you! Ding ding! And that's kind of how that gets resolved, because actually none of the Santas were your dad. It was you had a secret mom instead.
I love it. I'm gonna set fires with her permission.
Let's go with Nox. Tell us all about Nevada Navidad. And just
Hi everyone. Hi everyone. My name is Nox Quiros. My pronouns are she, her, and today I was Nevada Navidad, who is also she, her, who's actually the worst, and I love her and I want her to come back. Please bring me back, Cat. Please. You can find me on social media at nocturnal_7. I have a Twitch with the same name. I'm going to start streaming more in the new year. I'm planning on doing holiday themed 10 Candles games. So there's going to be a lot going on over there. That's really all I have to plug right now. As for Nevada, I think that she gets very interested in helping Kringla find the right people for her experiments. I think maybe eventually Lady Gertrude doesn't have to worry about that customer who came to the wrong place. They seem to have taken their complaints elsewhere. And I think Nevada, I feel like she's very much like still checking in on everybody, like still checking in. She definitely like heard about what Edwin did and was like, okay. And then she definitely checks on Amelia often, being like, hey, I might have some more eggnog coming up for you. Kind of like that. You know, keeping up the gossip with Mrs. Ayersworth. I think she's happy where she is while slowly trying to think of how to
corrupting
take her.
Kringler. Just sending Kringler into a darker. Kringler is a 16-year-old girl.
She's not sending. She's making sure Kringla's doing it safely because she does genuinely care about Kringla. But she's like, listen, I know how this is gonna work.
Look,
so I'll
if you're
just
going to become a monstrous Christmas folktale, then you're going to do this safely.
Yes.
And you're going to do this with guidance and support.
Yes. And I will bring hot cocoa.
Keep me informed.
I will bring hot cocoa. I just care about your safety as you become a monstrous folktale. Also, the horns are coming in lovely. It's okay. I got you some horn cream for Christmas.
Oh my god. Nevada is the best cozy fixer ever. Oh my god.
Bring us
so
back.
Cute. All right.
perfect,
Well, thank
no
you
notes.
for that little epilogue for Nevada Navidad. Who I will never stop saying that name. Okay. Well then, Mrs. Ayersworth, if you could please, Mads, tell us a little bit about you, but also tell us how Mrs. Ayersworth gets on.
Yeah, I'm just gonna just do my plugging thing. Madeline Colley, Mads for short, she, they pronouns. I can be found at Madeline Colley on YouTube. I have a channel of lots of actual plays of different TTRPGs, and there's more to come because I'm still working on a backlog from last year, including the games that I'm also doing this year as well. And I can be found at Madeline Colley on Discord as well, and also Twitter and Blue Sky. So yeah, come and check me out, and come and see the games that we play. And I plan on doing a lot more trophy. Like I'd like to get through not only the core incursions, but I'd also like to do more with the third party material, and rooted in trophy or designed for trophy stuff like this. So I mean, I love this game. I mean, it's my pick for Open Hearth's Game of the Year for 2023. So I'm just like, yes, definitely. Woo!
It's incredible, isn't it? It's an incredible game.
It's beautiful. And as for Mrs. Ayersworth, I think that Nevada had made an offer. I think in the midst of everything else that Nevada was doing, I think she made an offer to help, but Mrs. Ayersworth was able to quell the complaint, to try to assuage the dissatisfaction of this person that had come in without an appointment by taking them, giving them some tea that might have had a little bit of something that, kept them still for just enough time, and proceeded to take them out with the icicle that she conveniently had, of course, and then called Gerald back to the house to clean up after her and himself. So everyone wins. Everyone had a wonderful gift this Christmas, and she was also able to recover in the fray, in the chaos of the altercation in the study. She was able to recover that singular letter that had gotten mixed up with Santa's children's letters,
and
Mhm.
was able to present the whole entire pile to Lady Gertrude. Again, a satisfactory Christmas for all.
I also am slightly low-key obsessed with the idea that Lady Gertrude somehow understands exactly how well they're done, and they go into business as partners with this
Yep.
reindeer charcuterie.
Yep.
Because you've got
Please.
so good with this like icicle knife that you can kind of help as it were, and it becomes that's your way of getting the bonus. Is just like, well, I'll just pay you an extra wage on the side to give me a hand with this.
Absolutely.
All right, so well, there you go. And that just leaves our lovely Amelia. Do we even call them Amelia? Who are they really? Well, I guess we're about to find out. And Basil, of course, if you will please tell us a little bit about yourself and Amelia's ending.
Yeah, so I've been Basil, he, they, Z, and I played Amelia, they, them. You can find me on social media as well on Twitter at Cabana Kana because someone is still squatting on the at Cabana handle. It's annoying. But everywhere else, I'm pretty much at Cabana. So yeah, you can just find me places. So for Amelia, I think that in, the aftermath of the cleanup, I think Amelia trying to be helpful just says, "Oh no, don't worry, I'll take care of it." And when the camera pans to fades out and fades back in, you see Amelia in the sort of secret eggnog room, and they are grumbling to themselves. They are the sort of like holiday cheer is gone because they're annoyed, and they're just sort of, you see them rubbing this kind of like ash or like sort of like charcoal-esque material onto a new barrel, and they're like, now I have to do this again. That stupid dog, so much work. Ugh. And there's a little spigot attached to the original barrel and a hose, and you can see the eggnog flowing through the powers of, I don't remember exactly. Briar's the science one, but basically the principles of like gravity and whatnot that are just making it go up and into the new barrel. And if the camera would peer in, you would see the body of someone in that barrel as it gets filled up. But as Amelia is grumbling and replacing and fixing the old barrel for the new, the camera would then go to the storage area, the storage and shop area, and just slowly kind of pan up to that jar, which seems to have gotten a bit bigger and rattles a bit ominously.
Oh my oh my goodness. What I love about this is this could be a perfectly good ending, or this could just be the beginning of the next lot of chaos. Cool. Well, thank you all so much for playing. I had an absolute ton of fun with that, and honestly, you all came up with such a cool like stories and ideas for the characters. So like, hats off to all of you. I'm Kat. I have been the sort of facilitator or guide to this. I am found on the internet mostly under Law Mistress 93, or here on Twitch and on YouTube. You can find me under the Law Mistress. In terms of things to plug, really, this is what my plans are for 2024, is just doing lots and lots of games on my channel, and facilitating more actual plays like this. Next week, we will be playing the second in our double bill of this game, and maybe we'll get to see a few more of those mechanics come into play, and sort of really deep dive into it, because it's been an absolute ton of fun playing it, and I love it very, very much. I will finish there because we're only 10 minutes over. Hey, it's not the new year yet. I said this was a New Year's resolution. So thank you all so much for joining me, and let's all celebrate, because I am now going to be an affiliate when this is over. or I'm going to be able to apply and say, hey, can you please make me an affiliate? So yay, go me! I'm very excited. I'm going to be able to put the thing I'm most excited about is being able to put emotes. I have like little emojis that I've had like drawn for me, and I just want to be able to put them on the channel, and you can't until you're affiliate. So I can't wait to do that. Cool. Well, shall we raid someone? Anyone got any raid suggestions at all? Because there's quite a few of us watching. I know that Orion D Black is streaming. If we want to raid them, or if anyone else has a better idea. If not, I will do that one then. Cool. So let's go raid Orion D Black. And yeah, this was fun, and I will see some of you, all of you, next week for my game on January the 5th, same time, same channel, and we will be returning to Claus Manor and seeing what sort of things will unfurl there. See you, everyone. Cheerio.